Yeah, Zealots. Ah, that is actually. I didn't pick up on that when we were looking at the bans for the first time. This is actually Zealots not banning out Dragonshire. And Dragonshire has been a map that is banned out by Quacknix, wherever he is.
Yeah.
He's the one that drafts and shot calls for Fnatic. They ban out the map in the past. Only when Bad Benny took over shot caller responsibilities for a while did they play Dragonshire. And then when Quacknix made his way over to Zealots, they always banned out Dragonshire too. Now they switched that over to Braxis. And Method takes the map immediately. They have map pick, bam, Dragonshire. Bring him to the map that he doesn't like. Bring him to the map that he doesn't enjoy playing, and make it easy for yourself.
So that begs the question, has Quack and crew came up with a strategy on this battleground, or is it something that kind of lapsed in their mind there and forgetting to ban it out when they pick Braxis instead? We'll see as we head to D-Shire.
Alright, so this was first pick. And first ban. Dragonshire coming in. Pass it out.
Is an Abathur ban here?
I'm torn. I would say from a meta perspective you can, but I don't think against Zealots you have to. Abathur is for me personally a hero where team synergy is absolutely crucial in order to make him work properly. That doesn't only target the way that you use symbiote, but it's also when do I use copy, how do we engage into these fights. And currently I'm not quite sure if that exists on Zealot's side to an extent where I say, okay, that is going to become a problem for us, because that's exactly where Zealots struggle the most. So I don't think I would ban out Abathur. Method still might, but I wouldn't be scared of it.
The first time that we saw Zealots come out here in HGC, they did play the Abathur composition with a gray main type of strategy, and as mentioned by Caldor, it didn't really pan out too well for them, just getting caught a little bit too much. But Method decides not to ban it. We'll go ahead and move into a Genji, and now the question, is Zealots going to move into Abathur, or will they let it slide? Because you know Method, they are willing to run it if it does go through.
I have no idea what to expect from Zealots here. There's, again, several ways how you can approach the battleground. A URL first pick I would not mind that at all. It's a strong pick for the map, and you know, if Zealots don't pick it now, Hero is definitely going to put his foot down and say, I want URL here. But from Quacknix's mind, Quacknix is a player that really likes to go into macro games, so a global offlaner would be strong for them. And we talked about also the dominance that they had with Blaze and with Diablo, so there's option on the side lane that might just make him say, hey, we don't need URL. We have other options that are still worth it for us, so let's go into one of those.
But if you grab someone like Dahaka here, and then suddenly Method goes into, for instance, URL and Abathur, that top lane suddenly becomes so difficult for Zarmany to really handle in that global play. You put him in a really awkward spot, especially on Dragonshire. A lot of things to consider here. What does Zealots move into? They pick Phoenix as their top. Or not the top, but their first pick.
Would mesh well with Diablo.
Yeah.
Method, I would expect URL to be taken.
Yeah.
Method traditionally doesn't... With other teams, I would have said, okay, you can also go into an earlier Deckard Kane here. Method does it occasionally, where they have picked Deckard in the first rotation. But they have also insane high predator Muradin. Ah, there it is, okay, I like it, Deckard Kane. I actually thought they would pass up on Deckard. URL was more or less guaranteed. But I could have seen them go into URL Muradin. Just give Bad Benny his Muradin again. But having the early priority on Deckard Kane, I really like that. That's something that they've pulled off once or twice. I'm not really that adamant about it. More often than not, we are seeing them going into a tanking.
So what here for Zealots? Diablo Blaze. The potential pickups, you get the slows on both of them. You get your top lane, you get the combination that we saw them start to maybe get towards a reverse sweep with Team Liquid on.
I would say get Blaze, for sure. Blaze would be a good one. If you then want to go into Diablo, then you definitely can. I wouldn't mind that rotation at all. Get Diablo Blaze, you have Phoenix already, you can still get a good support for yourself. It doesn't have to be Malfurion. You have other options. You can go into Rhaegar, you have Kharazim available, so there's definitely things to consider. And you will always find another damage dealer that you can play there too. So having that founder, it worked well for them. Why not try it again and see, okay, how strong are we with that? Can we even contest a game of Method here?
They do Muradin and Malfurion though.
I mean, I'm happy to be proven wrong when it comes to Robert Ober's Muradin, but so far I was not really impressed.
Yeah, and it's not like he can't play the hero, he's not hitting Stormbolts and such. It's that there's disconnect between the team of when he wants to go in and when they should go in, right? And that's where we have that issue of him suddenly kind of being out on an island by himself, getting picked off.
Yeah, and I really liked Blaze as a fallback option in team fights when you can bunker that through. And that, for me, was a really powerful pick that they showcased against Team Liquid. Method even banned it out on the last one. But again, it is a map where you have a lot of control points that you really need to secure, so globals become an issue, and that's why the Haka is being targeted here over Blaze. Urel's already chosen. Allows Blaze for the Zealots. What do the Zealots ban out? They pick Muradin away, so they don't have to ban... I don't feel they have to ban the tank here.
I think Hanzo or Chromie come to mind as characters to take away from Method, as they like to run them in that bottom lane by themselves and control the giant camp as needed.
Medivh is still a very strong option for Method. Tracer is up even though Tacita has been banned. They can still run that.
Especially with the potion just coming in. And if you get Medivh, that Tracer is still just as strong. A lot of options.
I think a ban on Medivh would be safe.
Ben Diablo.
Okay, here we go. Method. What do we have in terms of tanks? Garage still available. Don't really feel Nubarak. Johanna also up there. Since Phoenix too.
I mean, Johanna makes sense on this battleground. And also, them needing a little bit more wave clear could work out for them. Just depends on what they pick up for their damage here. Yeah. Because if they get someone like Tracer, then Johanna just goes up a little bit by priority. You want to have that wave clear. But if you pick a Jaina instead, then you're fine running a tank like Garrosh doesn't need that wave clear.
I wouldn't really expect Jaina. I mean, I know you mentioned it for wave clear mostly, but Jaina with Muradin, I could have seen Jaina trying to get that Jaina Muradin rotation on the map and get these kills on lane. We've seen that actually in Phase 2 several times now, as Jaina had a big showing on the mid-season brawl, and ever since then has seen a bit more play. But okay, Method right now, double pick, probably gonna see the tank and maybe a flex pick or towards the end then. Johanna Tracer.
There it is.
And that puts you into a spot where you can take Medivh on the last spot. Could go into Abathar on the last spot.
Based on what your opponent's moving to.
Yeah, so then you have an additional layer for Tracer that helps you to keep her alive next to Deckard Cain. Shield talent for the potions on level 4 for him. Get an Abathar hat moving in with that. Trying to get the Medivh shield just to be sure that whenever CC comes out of Zealots, depending on what they are running now, you can just shield her away. Even provide a portal if she's out of mobility stacks.
Thrall an option for Zealots here if you want to help with the slow for Phoenix.
I mean, the cool thing about Thrall against Tracer is also you have Chain Lightning Poke, right?
Yeah.
You can always have that point and click where you can't miss it. It's not a skill shot. You just like click on Tracer and you whittle her hit point pool down slowly and steadily. But then Blaze is a bit better for survivability, and you can also dodge the pulse bomb again with the bunker if there's a situation in which you know, okay, this is going to confirm the kill if we don't do anything about it.
So what, Thrall Greymane here?
I want Blaze.
There's Blaze. Junkrat! For Quack, he actually showed off a little bit of Junkrat when he was on Fnatic. He did it for 2 weeks in a row and it just fell off completely. But he really enjoyed the hero, to the point where they first picked him a few times.
And Abathar, there we have it. I mean, this was basically two options for ADRD.
Yeah.
You go either Abathar or you go Medivh. Those are the two.
I actually do like the draft here for Zealots. Great top lane, sustain through. You have wave clear with Junkrat and displacement, which can be good, especially against Urel if you can get her to overstep a little bit, pull her into your team. Muradin's always on this map too. I like their draft.
Tracer Abathar is going to be tough.
Yeah, true.
And Urel Abathar, solo lane is already lost. You know that when you're up against an Abathar. I just don't feel the Junkrat.
Why don't you like Junkrat, man?
I don't know. It's like hit point pool is so low. It's going to be tough to against Tracer alone. It's already an issue, and then you have the extra added damage that Abathar provides when you go in.
I think he's stronger than what people give him credit for, but yes, the health pool is a little bit of an issue, especially with Tracer coming towards you. But if he plays it safe, plays it slow, gets the grenades in there, and that Riptire after level 10, gosh, that brings in a lot of control in a team fight. We're going to see if that pays off here for the Zealots as we get ready for our second game in the series. So far, Method is up 1-0, but Zealots, they are hoping to change that.
And the Zealots start things off with Shat on Malfurion. Quacknix, as expected, is playing Junkrat. We have Chris, therefore, on the auto attacker. He's currently playing Phoenix in game number 2. Robadoba on Muradin and Zarmini on Blaze.
On the right side, in the red, Nick on Tracer, Bad Biddy on Johanna, ADRD on Abathur, moving into that Carapace build, Ethereal on Urel, and Curson playing Deckard.
Cursing with the old boy again. Alright. Is Zealots going to make this happen? Muradin for Robadova, but at least this time we are seeing him with Third Wind here. He has actually been speccing into Perfect Storm quite a bit recently, but I really like that he's going to try and make sure that he has a bit more of a recovery tool on his own, where he doesn't rely on the Thurian. Aggression at the start here against Ethereal. Good displacement. Lockdown there as well. Ethereal is actually going to survive through that. Oh, of course he does. He's Urel. But still, great attempt here. Really good move.
Goats never die. Ooh, Chris even missing out on that scroll with that teleport. Nice little usage of the for invincibility. Robodoba holding this middle lane here while Junkrat runs to the bottom, and we'll start at the clear lane, which is what Junkrat can do pretty darn well, even trying to delay Deckard Cain from rotating in. Another fight in the middle as Tracer has to use her recall, attempting to escape as Chris puts out some decent damage on her.
It's definitely an aggressive start from the Zealots into game number 2, and I really like this. The top lane is going to be a problem for them, since Urel is already strong enough as is individually, but then you have Abathur on the same lane, so whenever there is any kind of threat, Abathur can help out. Carapace build is being played again by ADRD here. Pretty standard, of course, for Abathur these days.
Quack, a little trouble here in the middle, taking some pressure. Ooh, Ethereal trying to hop on top of him. Able to get out, thanks to Gust of Mind. And Zealots actually get a nice little head start on the Giants. They'll have those pushing in the bottom lane. And after clearing middle, Muradin can scan out and see if Method is starting their Giants. They can decide if they want to go for an invade. Zealots already grabbing the top shrine, while Ethereal will do the goat thing of jumping between the lanes, soaking, and also trying to keep your opponent off of it.
And also the toxicness starting to be a bit of a nuisance there, right from the start. Just feels bad. This is one of those solo lane matches where you're sitting there as the solo lane and just like, oh my god, why me? Not only do I have to go up against Urel, but also there's toxic nests everywhere, and I have to deal with the symbiote whenever I actually start winning a trade. So that comes in as an added pressure.
To be honest, Army should be happy that this Carapace build is so strong, because every time in the first season of HGC, if we had Abathur, ADRD loved the toxic nest build where he would drop mines consistently and blow you up. And speaking about blowing up, whoops, as Method takes a pick and blows up Junkrat mid-jump with the pulse bomb.
You asked earlier what my problem with Junkrat is. Just saw that in action.
Yeah.
Pretty much that. Since I think this is what Method is going to be trying and aim for the entire time. And the only escape that Quacknix really has is his mobility through the concussive. And if that doesn't work out, then you're just screwed. And now they get an immediate Dragonite from that. Very methodical approach that we're seeing from Method.
And it is early Dragon with an Abathur comp. Not too shabby for Method. Grab a turret, look towards the second one. Chris will be here to help out with the defense. Finks will shred that Dragon pretty decently if he's able to get the damage on it, but Tracer plays it slow and safe, continues to poke with a Fire Breath, while Johanna keeps his back up. Urel, however, is doing well in this top lane, getting both turrets down, about a quarter of their HP. With an Abathur hat constantly coming in, he should be fine.
Yeah, Dragonite is also moving over, and it's always, that poke against the wave is always just so important. You don't need to fully commit to structures when you have that Dragonite. You can just simply wait out the time a bit and use every single time the Dragon Breath once it's off cooldown. It really helps you to poke down structures and also destroy minion waves. In an ideal world, you're trying to approach a fort or towers when your own wave is pushing in, because it soaks up so many of the tower shots, and that will make sure that your Dragonite is not getting bursted down by the turrets.
Zarmony, man. Losing your well in the top lane, your turrets have already been taken out. I am going to shed a single tear just for him, because now without a well, it's going to be even more difficult to deal with your well constantly putting pressure on him, with Abathur hats constantly coming in. He may have to call for a couple of ganks into his top lane.
Yeah, and I mean, his top lane was, as you said, already difficult to begin with, but now it has more or less been becoming impossible. Benny getting helped here as Robadoba is attempting to zone him from taking that last tower in the middle. The experience lead for Method is nothing too dramatic yet, but it starts to build up slowly and steadily. Jump out by Robadoba. Again, the scroll of ceiling here as Curse is attempting to lock him out. And yeah, things are just not looking good for Zealots. They're getting pushed back. They're not too far behind experience, but the structural advantage that we're seeing build up on the side of Team Method is getting a little bit out of control already, since they open up more of the map.
Exactly. You may look at this and, as you said, see the experience, say, it's not too bad, Zealots are just fine, but with them having a middle and the top opened up so dramatically when 10 comes here, and Method can find a killer or two. They say they can take those forts. That's where they jump up that experience. If they get a second dragon around to level 10, that's where they also open up the map too, and suddenly they can invade into their opponent's knights when they need to. This gets snowballed pretty quickly, and Zealots will have to find a way to stop the bleeding, and they need to do it quickly.
Yeah, it's all about the next Dragon Knight. If Method can claim level 10 and with 10 control both the shrines and get a Dragon Knight, there could be a problem. But Zealots are closing the distance a bit, and with a push through the Knight camp at the bot lane, if they can take one of these towers down, maybe both, that would definitely help them a bit to just lessen the threat once 10 is in the hands of Method. Just trying to deny that window for as much as you can.
Interesting. A level 7 change up here for Mule. Instead of going into the Mule, we're going into the spike damage that you can get. So looking to keep Tracer in a situation where she's even more deadly. Also, Aethero now has that extra damage. Look at him. He is actually proxying behind the fort with the help of the Knight Camp, and nobody from Zealots can actually come over and help. There's a threat of the Giants and Knight Camp being grabbed in the bottom part of the map, so they're like, hey, sorry, Zarmany, you're on your own, bro.
And he just used Divine Steed just to run Zarmany down a little bit, to get closer so that Abathur gets value out of his Spike Burst. And it's just frustrating if you are Blaze in this situation. The 10 is ready, and they're taking another camp at the bot lane immediately. And now, of course, an attempt to make a play for the Shrine. But Zealots are denying that for as long as they can. They actually are so close to 10 that they should be able to delay this. But it's now a free camp pushing at the bot lane very soon. But at least it's a 10 versus 10 situation, so you can deny that a little bit longer. The Dragon Knight.
Oh, there we go. Knight Camp grab 2. Entire Shrines grab here as well. Trying to pinch Zealots a little bit and see where they respawn. So far, Zealots are respawning in the middle. They don't want to go with this Dragon yet for the reasons that you just mentioned. Aethero by himself, but should be able to get out. And he will. Gosh, Yrel she's dirty sometimes, man. Being able to be in a 1v4 with an Abathur hat.
That insta-mount is just so dirty. In the middle of the fight, mounts up, just walks a little bit, doesn't get the entire duration through, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's enough to get closer. We're talking about getting closer, they're getting pretty close to Shat here, and that is a kill. He gets his Twilight Dream off, and Nick is pressured, but it's not enough to confirm a kill here by any means for Zealots. Method still looking strong, and Blaze is not there. It's one of the reasons why Zealots are struggling this much at the bot lane. Even Muradin is falling.
Muradin jumping in there, thinking they could maybe block someone down, but with the Stormbolt missing, he had to pop his Avatar, and Method just answers back with an easy kill. Giant sieging away, and even Bad Benny eating some of these grenades to try and prevent the Giants from falling. Quack will finally clean those up, but there's still a Dragon that can be grabbed, and Yrel will start to rotate over with the help of Johanna. ADRD continuing to soak that top lane as they move towards level 13. And this is starting to be a bit of a beatdown. If this Dragon goes over to Method, I see them taking maybe double forts and looking at a keep wall.
Yeah, so the Slug is actually taking it. Aethero is still zoning everyone out and is making sure that Blaze is not getting too cheeky here. But the Slug is now taking control. That allows Yrel to just push out one more wave. Shat in the back, dead again. Nick just delivering. He has the Abathur hat the entire time when he needs him. But there's a counter kill. Oba and Crispa able to get Deckard Cain.
Lockdown, Blessed Shield, teleports away. Chris able to get out with a quarter health, but Method healthy with shields constantly coming in. Zealots are staying resilient. They're holding back. With no Malfurion here for 3 seconds, Quack is in a position where he has to grab the bottom shrine. He gets it. Method not rotating down quite yet. They want a Zarmany instead. Bad Benny already positioned to stop that jet propulsion. Aethero coming in to body block him. Blaze able to sneak on by barely as Robodoba comes in to try and force a fight.
Yeah, that was a pretty close call for Blaze to get out. This could have been a kill. 13 talents are now in the hands of Method, so it gives them another edge. And especially the survivability is even increased with so much transference here. So they are going in again. Nick the entire time just zipping around, looking for these kills, gets the help of Abathur, tries to look for opportunities. Top lane is getting pushed out by Abby as well, whenever need be. They're of course going for the squishies here, and they're trying to make that play for the next Dragon Knight. They have 13 talents, so an edge over Zealots in the first place, and they're trying to use it here to confirm another objective.
And all 5 here, still out of town disadvantage, but as you mentioned, trying to find something. But Method gives him nothing. Yrel on the bottom, she clears out the Giants. Abathur helping him out, just in case she gets in trouble. Nick on the side, in case someone were to rotate down. Quack is forced to eventually pull away from the middle as they try to grab 13, but now Method sees an opportunity. They go in, look at Robodoba, put some decent damage down, even a scroll connecting. Method just dancing around Zealots as Johanna runs to the top left and gets that pushing in too.
But Zealots have now level 13 talents, and actually it's not too bad for them because they are even in talents. They're still trying to make their plays here. Good Lornado, saving Aethero again. There's definitely a lot of mobility involved from Method in the way that they're playing this, but the Zealots have now successfully delayed the DK until they have their own level 13 talent. That gives a lot of survivability over to Malfurion and Muradin. And now with that, they have a more realistic chance to take team fights. They just need to always kill someone off towards the top lane, since Abathur is continuing to push it out with the symbiote. And so this experience has to be soaked. And that's what Blaze is doing. But Zarmany's rotations are sometimes just a bit too late to catch everything here. So they're losing a bit in the long run, already one level behind.
Blessed Chill comes out, goes straight on to Chris. Chris is trying to mount up. He'll be able to teleport out, but Robodoba's left by himself. Decent damage on him. Able to escape thanks to the Dwarf Toss. And we're going to have a nice little root in the back right. So Blaze comes over, gets some lockdown on Nick. Decent damage. Here's the Riptire 2. Nick hits the salvo, but the heal's coming out from Curson. A little too much with an Abathur hat.
And this is also where really the third wind of Robodoba's Muradin comes into play. Bunkers on the ground, trying to go for it. It's barely the save on the squishy. It was actually Quacknix who nearly fell here. Zarmany gets chased, and that could be the end. Blaze goes down, Method on 15.5. Phoenix trying to recapture the bottom shrine to deny the Dragonite. No one went back to channel, but they have now full control in this 5 versus 4 setup. Can rotate back down, claim that, and try to make that play for the DK, and that's exactly what Benny did. He's there, Aethera's in the middle, channels it through, and objective number 2 in the hands of Team Method.
Oh, and look at the map too. Night Camp in the top lane. Junkrat's going to deal with that, but the middle of the Dragon is already breaking this down. That's going to be a 16 experience lead here for Method, as they have 2 talents over their opponents. The 4 in the bottom eventually got cleaned up. Abathur slowly bleeding that down. So now with a duration of 55 seconds and a healthy Dragon, Method turns their attention over to this keep wall. First turret goes down, there's the gate, next should be the second turret, and then they just need to ask themselves, do we want to dive here? Do we want to force this keep?
I mean, they can. They have 16, so there's definitely a chance for them to make that work once that the minion wave is there. They even engage into it before the minion wave is out. Blessed Shield is missing, though. No kill against Chris. That's what they're trying to set up here. Taking Phoenix down. The Riptire comes out. Robodoba is already in a bit of trouble. Riptire does some damage to Tracer, but that's about it. And the keep is falling. The first keep down 12 minutes into the game this time. Zarmany also has to drop the bunker to stay alive. Trying to retreat here. Scroll of Sealing is slightly too late. Chad, on the other hand, he falls, gets the Twilight Dream off, but that is just not enough for a counter kill. Zarmany is about to die. They could go for another kill against Chris. Warps away. Method looking at the core here. 3 levels ahead in a talent. And they decide that might just be enough to get the win.
They have an ultimate illusion up against him here, which will allow for Nick to move into a second Tracer. There we go. ADRD gets the clone. They go straight for Chris here. He's going to be able to get to his key, buying some time, but the core continues to be focused down. Nick has yet to be touched. Curson has got him nice and protected. With the Blessed Shield about to be popped up too, Method has it here. As they get on the core, drop it down to 20, drop it down to 10. Chris goes for a Miracle Salvo, but it's too late. Method goes up 2-0 over the Zealots.
You have to feel for the Zealots now. This is a rough phase.
On the other hand, Method is looking clean.
Yeah, they have been looking really strong throughout phase 2. But it really breaks your spirit when you see how Zealots struggle. And for Method, of course, this is just another day in the office. Right now, they're basically quick matching this.
7-1 in kills, a large lead of their opponents, finally breaking them through, getting the keeps, going straight in for the core.
23 minutes game time for a 2-0.
Wow, when you put it in that perspective, that hits me like a tidal wave.
That's pretty tough.
Yeah, geez. Zealots to figure out how to pull this together as we prepare for a game number 3. Could it be in draft? Is it teamwork? What is the first step they even do to try and scratch at Method?
Again, I'm going to be honest here. I think we have a tough time also evaluating if maybe even they accomplish what they are setting themselves up. From my perspective, they go into these games and they are saying, okay, today this is what we're going to work against. You have to put that in perspective. We're on like the 8th slot that hasn't taken a single match goes up against, I think it's the number 3 right now.
Yeah.
Method is more or less on level with Liquid. So it's the number 2, number 3 spot that they contest. Method is looking stronger every single week. They're definitely going to the Western Clash. They are looking fantastic right now. And they themselves say, we want to take the number 1 in Europe. We're just going to improve now. Yes, we are an old lineup that has already synergy, but we feel there's still a skill ceiling for us that at some point we can hit. And we're like a long way away from that. So they need to show these games. That's what we expect from Method if you go against the last place in the league. For Zealots, it's just simply